Okay, imagine taking a vacation, one of the few you afford yourself during the year, and while you're doing whatever it is people do on vacation, you get a full-blown cancellation attempt thrown at you, with only your shitty phone and the ability to post on Twitter to fight back. That sounds pretty bad, I can hear you thinking. And yes, it is. But that's what happened to Kirsche, aka Babe. Do you mind if I call you Babe? Anyway, let's do Kirsche proud by debunking harder than we've ever debunked before. Our tale begins with an article. Well, actually, it begins with our dear Kirsche getting hounded and smeared for years by the usual suspects. But I don't think anyone has 6 hours to spare, so we'll leave that in the past. Kirsche has responded to this hit piece, and we will go over that after I'm done absolutely shitting on it. So here's the magnum opus of the journalist Anal Violence. No, sorry, Anna Valence. I don't want to hear shit about me accidentally mispronouncing a name. English is not my native language, and you don't want to be ableist now, do you? I also belong to a minority group. There's only about 16 million of us on the planet, so shut it. One of her fans is a bona fide Nazi. Excellent journalism. Now, I will say that I appreciate that the intent of the article is immediately clear from the first paragraph. It's a very nice advertisement for gamer subs. Use code Kirsche. However, gamer subs is in hot water with many VTuber fans due to one particular creator working with the company, Mythic Talent's Kirsche, an anime fox girl with a knack for sharing alt-right talking points. Kirsche has landed herself in controversy after controversy online due to her right-wing beliefs. At this point, it begs the question whether gamer subs will one day pull the plug on the VTuber for good. It's obvious what this is. This is a I didn't call for a sponsor to drop her, I'm just asking the questions smarmy snakery. And who are these VTuber fans that Kirsche landed herself in hot water with? Can we get some numbers? No, of course not. And even if we could, I'm sure none of these people have certain flags in their bios and are of, shall we say, alternative persuasions. The tired alt-right is brought up again as well. By the way, just so you're up to speed, Nazis and alt-right are just people the loony shitlibs don't like, so that entire part means nothing. Or does it? Let's see if they substantiate their claims. Blah, blah, blah. Kirsche's story time, everyone. We need to make sure everyone knows that she's popular, so unlike me, she's dangerous for having some reach. Also notice a second round of attempting at dragging in gamer subs makes its appearance. While some VTubers may wink or nod to conservative beliefs, Kirsche has never hidden her political leanings. In fact, she's gained a reputation for speaking out on behalf of the right-wing side of the VTubing fanbase. Okay, I want you all to know something, and I'm gonna do shit that Anna's doing here as well, and pull this out of my ass, although I think I'm not far off here. VTubers are on average left-leaning, either openly or for the ones that don't talk politics, they play incredibly nice with the openly left ones behind the scenes. So yes, it is kinda rare to have a VTuber have some, and I repeat, some more conservative views on some subjects. But what's wrong with that? Only an ideologue would take umbrage with this. I'm doing a thing here where I'm pretending to not know where this is going. Just humor me. Anyhow, Kirsche has said that trans women advocating for trans rights are autogynophiliac males with graphic murder fantasies. Here's where I drop a bombshell, or more likely, one of these fucking things. Anna Valence is a trans woman, so as you can see, they totally don't have any personal vendetta and stake in their reasoning for writing this cancel pig article. Back to the point though, this fuck nugget is referring to this post by Kirsche. Once it's realized that most trans activists are autogynophiliac males or ideologues pushing their political views with an identity shield to prevent criticism, all of the power-hungry threats and graphic murder fantasies make a lot more sense. Which is a direct response to this comment by Lunkhead. Now this was just a mistake, right? To remove context from a statement? A journo would never. Let's not read all of it because we'd be here all day if I did that. I'll keep it on screen for a bit and you can pause, but I'll paraphrase. Trans activism has a sadistic streak full of aggression and the gleeful throwing around of death threats. This is not found in the vast majority of LGB activists, but seems to be truly unique for the T part. I mean, what do you want me to say? Is Kirsche's reaction and reasoning really that wrong? We see this shit day in, day out. Hell, even trans comics are always the same. A panel of a Nazi disagreeing with them on anything, and then the punchline being, "We will murder you," or someone getting brutally maimed. Even the memes are the same liquid diarrhea bullshit of death threat after death threat. Say anything counter to these people, and you're dealing with endless waves of harassment. Again, let me ask, how is what she says not reasonable? Do I need to bring someone up here? How is it just not the fucking truth? Something anathema to someone like Valence. Oh, and autogynephilia is real. It's not some made-up shit. Also, she praised Mythic Talent co-owner Asmongold for arguing.
So every trans kid is actually a victim of a parent with a mental illness.
Firstly, of course she would praise Asmongold. That's not surprising. She'd do a lot more than just praise him if he let her. Which makes me jealous because I would love to show Kirsche my monster collection, my monster collection. I collect Monster Energy cans and have them all on display on a shelf. Wait, what do you think I meant? Secondly, how is that alt-right or whatever? What does this even mean? Have you not seen the loony, short, blue-haired, septum-piercing mom having 3 trans kids bullshit? Are we pretending that doesn't happen? You think anyone on the left can't also share this opinion, you goofy fuck? Then, of course, we get more nonsense and guilt by association. But not just association, no. Imagine you being pronounced guilty of something that someone else, that isn't even an associate of yours, says and does. Because that's what's happening here. This is straight up malicious. Let that sink in. Someone living in your fucking country does something bad, and because they have heard of you, now you're also guilty of that. Even though you have no relation to the person, because that's the argument that's being made here. I hope it's now more than crystal clear at this point that calling this a hit piece is not overblown. Do you think Tom Cruise ever has this sort of allegations thrown at them? Oh, this random person said Tom Cruise was an epic Nazi. Well, must be true then. The person that made the claim knows of Tom Cruise. She's alt-right, anti-woke, and apparently transphobic to a degree. One Redditor said, "Oh, really? A fucking Redditor said that? Oh my fucking god, tell me it ain't so." And this dildo asked Anal Violence to remove the link to the post because none of this is my own info. Just restating what other people said. Can't confirm nor deny this stuff. Well, Miss Valence, I can confirm and deny a lot of stuff about you. More about that later. But for the record, let me show you how easy this is. You're a pedophile, you sick fuck. Why? It says it right here. What do you mean Safi doesn't know that? Who cares? Someone on the internet insinuated it, sweet cheeks, so it's true. Alt-right seems like an accurate description of Kirsche and her politics. Okay, and what if it was? So, what's your point? It's not true, but if it was, do right-wingers not deserve to speak and have a platform? Hey Max, help me out here.
Don't answer that. A rhetorical question.
Oh no, the great replacement theory. Bonus points for linking to another probably excellent article by your shit rag of an online publication. Kirsche has now explicitly stated her belief in the white supremacist great replacement theory. Here she is openly stating her belief that politicians in the US and UK are assisting in a hostile demographic takeover while ranting about the construction of mosques in England.
Our politicians are assisting these people with both demographic replacement as well as just making citizens' lives worse in general. They're changing the entire culture of these countries. It might not be a hostile takeover like you see in war. There's no guns and battleships and bombs, but it is still a hostile takeover. It is still going to change these countries irreparably in the future. UK, it's almost all of Europe. I'm specifically speaking of the UK because of the mosque thing.
Where's the lie? Where's the great replacement theory being mentioned? Can we get a counter to this without coping? What is even going on? Can you refute what she said? Did Kirsche just pull this out of her ass and start lying? Or is she reacting to something that's literally happening and weighing in on it? I mean, I could make an entire series of videos on this shit if I wanted. That's how much there is to talk about and discuss. But sure, let's just condense it to my great replacement theory knows. By the way, the person bringing this up, we'll get to them later because this is not some innocent hapless baby bystander by any means. This was not a one-off comment. In April, she retweeted the White House's ICE tip line to aid the deportation of undocumented Americans. Oh my fucking god. Did she aid in the removal of individuals with a lack of authorized paperwork to remain in the United States of America? Look at this dumbass manipulation. Illegals. They are illegals, you snake. ICE is a government organization. The tweet came directly from the White House. I guess retweeting a message from the government means you believe in the great replacement theory. She was happy with the mass deportations under Trump, but warned the federal government was offering undocumented Americans massive amounts of free shit on the taxpayer's dime. Okay, nice and subtle again. First off, this is going to sound strange, but supporting a sitting president's policies doesn't make you a believer in the great replacement theory. I've never heard of that one before. Secondly, you guys got sanctuary cities, literal cities that at bare minimum will assist illegals, you know, criminals, and at worst, give them free shit. And I know if you're a Marxist or commie, you don't understand this, but every single penny the government has comes from taxes which come from the citizenry. She even called Lawrence, Massachusetts, a no-go zone full of illegal activity and implied the city could only be recovered if all of its undocumented citizens were removed. Oh, fuck off. No, really, this is what she said. When I lived in MA, Lawrence was basically a no-go zone full of illegal activity. I had seen a lot of people get shot already, but Lawrence was where I witnessed first death from a shooting. If ICE sweeps there, it will become a ghost town and maybe can be rebuilt. Now, I'm not going to lie, but my true flesh heart, praise be upon the Omnissiah, he knows all, comprehends all, reverted to a simple human heart, and I felt genuine sadness. If only for a few seconds, because I'm not crying, you're crying. Despicable omission. But it was Kirsche's tweets in mid-April that drew her gamer subs name drop partnership back into the public spotlight. On April 14th, Kirsche responded to an online rumor about Carmelo Anthony, a black teen charged with killing a white 17-year-old named Austin Metcalf. A rumor which spread through right-wing social media circles before later being debunked by Snopes. Kirsche fed into the claim. Here's another fuck you for using capitalization for black but not extending the same courtesy to white, you absolute ideological garbage golem. As punishment, I'll make up for it by doing this. Getting a payday to buy a house by killing a white man just makes sense, Kirsche tweeted. Reparations after all. Oh my god, it was debunked by Snopes? The Snopes? Damn, bro. And she's fucking wrong, alright? It wasn't the man that got killed. It was a kid, Kirsche. Get it right. Get it left. I don't want to get clipped and used in the next article to claim your right wing. Anyway, they did raise a shitload of money by crowdfunding, did they not? Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Payne.
Don't answer that. A rhetorical question.
The next day, Kirsche responded to a post claiming body cameras killed the BLM movement. Which they totally did, by the way. Crybaby race-baiting hustlers endlessly BTFO'd ever since cops are forced to wear those magical boxes on their chest. But I digress. She shared body cam stills from police altercations with Deshaun Leith and Sidney Wilson, two black Americans who were shot and killed by American police officers. Who wore it better, Kirsche tweeted. Body cam edition. Oh no. Dark humor. Oh, a joke. Get bent, cry lord. Blah, blah, blah. Self-defense acknowledged. Blah, blah. The implication of Kirsche's response is that black Americans are lying about the commonality of police brutality in the United States. This lame-ass project notes, blah, 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 more likely to be shot, blah, blah. Anyone can quote dipshit statistics without explaining the underlying reasoning. Police officers aren't immune to bullets, and the time they have to ascertain if some suspect is going to pull a gun and shoot them if he starts acting like a noodle-armed man flailing around is less than a second. These grifter organizations exist because the underlying problem isn't solved. It's in their best interest to keep the problem from staying that way. Unsolved. But really, Kirsche making a dark humor joke in 7 words implied all of that? Fucking amazing. Not even trying anymore, huh? Must be nice to know that your audience consists of 70 IQ troglodytes that don't even have the capacity to understand how underhanded and straight up "I'm pulling this out of my ass" that statement was. Jesus Christ. Anal continues crying about black men killed. I don't fucking care. What does that have to do with Kirsche? Kirsche's mid-April posts reached a breaking point for the VTubing community, causing many users, citation needed, to criticize gamer subs for partnering with the creator. One virtue-signaling VTuber, remember, me no speak English good. One VTuber, Kayo, ended his gamer subs partnership 2 days after Kirsche's tweets. Wait, hold up. Kirsche's tweets? Which ones? All of the above? Huh? The joke one? What? While Kayo did not name Kirsche directly, he pointed to his concern with certain creators affiliated with the brand sharing openly bigoted views without facing any consequences. Oh, boo-hoo. You mean how everything is bigoted to you dorks? What a massive pussy, though. At least have the balls to name her. Oh, wait, no. Wait, how is this about Kirsche? Are you speculating again, Anal? Anna. I encourage fellow creators to think about whether or not their partnership with the company is worth continuing, Kayo wrote. I don't agree that it's a good idea to just let creators create content and try to do our best to just make the best products on the internet, if it means allowing hateful people to be representing your brand. Well, luckily, your hateful dumbass has left gamer subs, so problem solved, chucklenuts. He wasn't the only one, by the way, going a little bit out of order, but I felt like mentioning it. But hey, more space for me. Hey, gamer subs, you want to sponsor a microbe-sized YouTuber? It's apparently really easy to be a VTuber looking at all these goofballs. I should get into VTubing myself if the vast majority is this brainless and yet still manages to turn it into a career. It remains unclear if gamer subs will issue a response to Kirsche's behavior. What is this, high school? For the record, yeah, just for the record, no biggie. Kirsche made a joke about being a brand risk while promoting a product that was called Brand Risk. I'm paraphrasing because that's what it says. But Miss Journalist here, of course, words it in the most deranged and unfavorable way. Okay, here's where I'm going to call it quits for a little bit. I'm not reading all of this fucking dumb shit. This is genuine insanity that can only come from the demented mind of a...
If I speak, I am in big trouble.
It's about Kirsche's plushie line and a fan that bought one, placing it on a shelf of all these racist books or whatever the fuck. How this has anything to do with Kirsche is anyone's guess, and how this implicates her in being a Yahtzee Nazi is also unclear. Well, it's very clear if you remember that Anna Valens is doing all of this out of spite and is writing a hit piece. So this fan took a bunch of pictures and Kirsche responded with, "I like your sleeves / gloves / boots." What follows is Anna speculating up a storm if Kirsche can even recognize Nazi and fascist books. Now let me preface this by saying that I'm instantly skeptical if some left-leaning lunatic calls something Nazi and fascist. Having Mein Kampf, for instance, is completely legal in my country. Mind you, a country that was actually conquered during World War II. And if I wanted to own it simply because I wanted to know what old Adolf was thinking, I could without being a Nazi. You all know this. But this is very hard to grasp for the uber-lefty. Hilariously so, because apparently owning racist books makes you a racist, but reading books about transgenders and pronouns and other...
If I speak, I am in big trouble.
...does not affect children and isn't indoctrination. What's shocking is that Anna, I'm joking, it's not shocking, invokes a bunch of randos, including a German VTuber that claimed that Kirsche didn't even know that the Iron Cross was a popular Nazi symbol. I can't believe this. They get a German VTuber involved, and they don't even know their own country's history. Gather around, kids, and let me tell you about your own country. The Iron Cross has been used for almost 200 years in Prussia, and then for another 100 in the German Empire. And after that, for less than 10 in Nazi Germany. You absolute fucknugget. I'm going to have to make a lot of use of a thesaurus, otherwise I'm stuck using the literal word disingenuous over and over. Okay, let me lift the veil here a little bit. Let's get into the back end of online content creation, in this case, VTubing as a whole. Kirsche is an entertainer. Of course, she's gonna retweet and interact with people that buy her merch. Most likely, partly as a thank you, and partly because it's just good marketing. Maybe even a little parasocial relationship building. Shh. Wait, you thought Kirsche was just some dumb girl pretending to be an anime fox? Okay, buddy. Newsflash. Every single content creator does marketing. Some better, some worse. But Kirsche is in a lot of aspects absolutely brilliant, either deliberately or just through sheer luck. And this is coming from a guy that has some experience in marketing. So her responding to anyone means absolutely nothing. Imagine you responding or retweeting a person that turns out to be a murderer, and then you get thrown in the same cell as the guy. Dumb. But don't worry, Anna, I didn't expect anything less from you. What matters most is how Gamer Supps feels on the matter. This is not Kirsche's first controversy and likely won't be her last. Which begs the question, is there a line Kirsche and other content creators can cross before a partnership is threatened with the company? Can you lay it on even thicker, you disgusting... All these controversies aren't even controversies. They're manufactured by sick people like yourself, Anna. Hateful and spiteful losers that can't stand the fact that she doesn't kiss the ring. Vice has reached out to Gamer Supps, Kirsche and Kayo for comment. Oh really? I expected you didn't reach out to Gamer Supps after writing an entire hit piece, you sniveling toad.
Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
Right, we should see what Kirsche had to say. I know, it's gonna be hard to top the absolute ass-fucking I gave this circus article, but we'll give dear Kirsche a shot. Now that I'm back from vacation, I wanted to take a moment to talk about some of the conversations happening around the recent Vice article and clear a few things up. The article and the coordinated attack on me misconstrued my beliefs to paint me as something I am not and took screenshots of edgy jokes to purposely cause harm to me, my community, and my sponsors. 1. This article is written by an author who also tried to denigrate other VTubers in the industry and failed to do so. When I criticized the awful author's biased views, it led to them creating an entire hate mob intending to deplatform and defame me and my community. Don't worry, we'll go over that one more later. Last week on stream, I asked my fans to tweet out photos of our recent plushie drop and I would retweet them. I retweeted a lot of fans showing off their plushies, and in one of the collages of photos, the fan had anti-Semitic books in the background of the plushie photo. I did not know that these books were in the photo or even existed in the first place. The mob painted this incorrect narrative that I am a Nazi, which is absolutely wrong as I do not share any of those beliefs or associations. Yeah, well, it's sad that she even has to say this. This was a coordinated attack on me and my character that I'm defending, and I initially did not want to unretweet the photos because I was immediately attacked for having retweeted it in the first place. These people jumped to hate and bludgeon my sponsors instead of assuming I didn't see it. Will not believe that I didn't see it now, but I'm hoping normal, rational people will understand. 3. The hateful author also took edgy jokes of mine in a vacuum, leaving out the tweets above and below that provide context of the joke in an attempt to make me seem racially charged. I do not condone or promote racism, and this was again a poor attempt to hurt my character by misconstruing an edgy joke. What else is new? It's all performative outrage for virtue signal points. The article goes on to cite my stream in which I quote the Prime Minister of the UK in a press conference to try to say I'm pushing a racial great replacement theory. This too is not true. Misconstrued all in an attempt to cause public backlash towards me and my sponsors. Because of this, I feel I need to clarify my stance on these things. I am not a racist, I'm not a Nazi, and I'm thankful that the people who actually watch my content know this. I have told explicit stories about growing up with my mother, whom I always condemn as not just a terrible parent can relate, but a terrible person in general. Luckily, can't relate, just really, really dumb and should have never had kids. And the people she associated with. These stories have become well known enough that my audience will super chat during collabs so that my partners are stun-locked at what I had to deal with as a child. The intended goal was to cause me unnecessary harm and get my sponsors to drop me. Never apologize to cancel mobs who will never be satisfied with anything you say and will continue to try and collect scalps in their crusade. However, I'm sorry that gamer subs had to deal with a lot of people believing lies about me and even being used as a centerpiece in a slanderous article in an attempt to sway them to dropping me. To help prevent harm to them, I've asked them to remove my Twitter badge, and I thank all my fans who stand by my side. Hey, thanks, but I can't say I'm not getting at least some form of personal satisfaction from laying into these garbage people. So the article is written by a trans woman. Every single VTuber that's going after Kirsche at this point is also LGBTQ LMNOP or some variant. The types that have the various flags and bios, pronouns, you name it. They're all ideological zealots and get off on attempting to cancel someone because it gives them that sweet dopamine hit that they go without during their sad daily lives, making them feel like they aren't the pathetic wretches that they are for just a moment. Anna's well known for straight up twisting the truth at best or lying at worst, so this whole article is nothing new. They are the final boss of journalism, and hilariously enough, you'd think they would be on the chopping block. But because they write for lefty lip-dart online ass-wiping rags, they ironically truly get away with vile behavior as opposed to the vile behavior she makes up in her own mind when being a smear merchant. But Anna is special. They aren't just a piece of shit journalist. No. See, Anna has dreams and fantasies, just like we all do, really, except these fantasies all revolve around their gender identity and putting a penis where it doesn't belong, often in a sort of group activity with other heckin' valids, if you catch my drift. Sorry, I meant putting a feminine penis where it doesn't belong in this case, the vaginas of heterosexual and lesbian women.
In the future, there are a number of institutions that emerge. If you are a trans girl or if you are trans feminine, you can go ahead and sign up for a reservation slot to an all-day access to one of many breeding facilities where you get to breed the shit out of that cis girl pussy. You can absolutely devastate that shit, fucking destroy it, murder it. It's done. Like, they have to cycle the girls out because that pussy is absolutely out of commission. And now we have breeding saunas, we have breeding bookstores, breeding movie theaters. Those are really nice. You have breeding adult schools. You have breeding esports arenas. Very fun. This is something we're building. This is the future. This is what TERFs don't want. They understand that we're trying to build these breeding facilities, and it's really important for you to fund your local trans girl top who is absolutely destroying that good pussy right now. Like, you need to give her the funds because she is the future, But in the future that I want is I just want to live in a world where you can walk down the street and you don't even have to worry about whether you're going to be able to breed that good fucking macaroni in a pot puss. That's not a tall ask. And I think that's the future for all of us, is just destroying that pussy wherever you go, whenever you go.
By the way, Anna is a lady, a woman. A penis can be feminine. Get with the times, you bigot. These are all just very specific jokes that somehow all revolve around crowd-forced, unwanted intercourse where beautiful trans women use their penises on vaginas of biological women. But that doesn't mean anything, you dumb fuck. It's just jokes. Lighten up. This is not some sick autogynophiliac struggle snuggle fantasy. Let me make that very clear. She is a loving and caring trans woman that just wants to be left alone to shove sex toys up their ass while playing children's games to get off. Or maybe they shoved it up their sheenus. I'm just an uneducated chud. I don't know how any of this works. Forgive my ignorance. Anna is given carte blanche by Vice to mercilessly attack anyone and everyone, but this wasn't unplanned. Gamer Supps was a target from the beginning. They despise the fact that Gamer Supps does not give a fuck about transphobia and racism and Nazis, or whatever terms these clowns throw around, and Kirsche was an easy target because she doesn't really hold back. Well, as far as you can not hold back on YouTube and Twitch. The theory that this was an attack on Gamer Supps as a whole, and perhaps even the entire VTuber space as a way to sanitize it, like these woke freaks seem to want, isn't that far-fetched.
List here today.
Yeah. Is that via lore? Is
yeah.
The YouTuber agency?
Go ahead. Kick it off.
All right. So I actually, and I think this is one of the reasons why the Gamer Supps article blew up.
The removal of a sponsor that sponsors people to promote a product and then fucks off. I'm saying this with respect, by the way. They just leave the creators to do their thing. As long as the codes get used, Gamer Supps seem to be copacetic. As with all things, Redditors were chomping at the bit to take a bite out of Kirsche. They thought they could pour some more oil onto the fire by reminding all of us what a horrible person she is. An entire thread was concocted to correct some of the mistakes Anna had made, and with mistakes, I mean the fact that not every single thing Kirsche has ever said and done was laid bare in the article. Isn't it funny how in hindsight these losers are all weaponized and play their part perfectly because they too get massive euphoria bonus from cancellations? Not unimportant, notice how this is a VTuber subreddit. That should tell you everything you need to know about the general perception of any VTuber that is slightly to the right of Mao. Still don't believe an overwhelming amount of VTuber fans and VTubers are raging lefties? Most of the points they bring up are rehashes from the article, but let me pick some of the more hilarious and deranged ones and... Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh shit. I'm gonna debunk! Now the thread was made by this fucking loser. Let's get to it. Evidently, it is necessary for this compilation to exist, so I'm just going to post a load of information here that, in its totality, should be fairly incontrovertible proof and can be linked to anyone who needs to quickly demonstrate that Kirsche is seriously bigoted to the point of functionally being a neo-Nazi without needing to have to write it out from scratch. And yes, a large chunk of the sources being linked to were also linked in the Vice article. Yes, I know there are mixed feelings about the author of that article, but these are the things Kirsche has actually said. Kirsche dog whistling about how trans women are a threat to lesbians. My dog whistle, guys.
This all sounds like mental illness. Yeah, this all sounds like mental illness to me, man. Let's see what desires are. FFF is a threesome where all humans involved identify as women. If you're gonna have, like, an FFF thing where you include all individuals who identify as women, how are lesbians who are lesbian by definition are going to find an FFF that doesn't involve men is my question. FFM is a threesome between two humans who identify as female and one who identifies as male. If you have an FFM threesome where the two identifying as female people are male and the one identifying as male is a female, is that just like a regular heterosexual orgy?
By the way, this sad sack is one of the VTubers going after Kirsche for that sweet cancellation clout. How dare you use logic? Don't you know that's verboten if it makes a transformer have to come to terms with the fact that nothing about their worldview makes any logical sense? Do you see now? Do you see how insane the world has gotten? You can't use certain terms or descriptors because it makes people sad that they are wrong. Empirically fucking wrong. What a shit show. I'm glad she said this. I really am. How many of you cucked content creators keep your mouth shut when you get irrational shit shoveled down your throats? Some of you even go for seconds. Cowards.
So now we get these biological women claiming to be men perpetrating shootings. Is it all the testosterone? If they're hyped up on testosterone, is that what's going to finally bring female shooting statistics in line with males?
Yes, it is. Testosterone gives Transformers roid rage, an insanely large clit, male pattern baldness, body hair growth, shriveling ovaries and uterus, which can necrotize and cause severe health problems, and zits. You know, like a bodybuilder that's going a bit too hard on the test juice. Testosterone isn't supposed to be in a woman's body at those extreme levels. For the other type of Transformers with estrogen, they just get brain damage. Her fan name is Ku Klux Kirsche, a fact she openly acknowledges through retweets. Again, you goobers, I know it's very hard to understand for these failures that would never get a sponsorship deal of any significance and couldn't market themselves out of a wet bag. Their idea of marketing is just sit there and spout lefty talking points, but this is marketing. She's gonna keep reposting plushies, candy bars, branded dildos, whatever the fuck, for the already mentioned marketing and gratitude reasons.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
Kirsche, presenting one lone radical as representative of BLM, notes that the person in the video leads a BLM splinter group and is not recognized as a member by the formal New York BLM branch. That guy isn't sanctioned by the great BLM organization? You know, the huge racket that's completely meaningless and only set up to enrich a bunch of clever blacks weaponizing racial hatred towards whites?
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same?
Nice how your proof leads to a dead link, by the way, from the official BLM grifter leadership. Mocking the Maori haka. Perfect joke. That's totally what it looks like. I've seen this a lot, by the way, especially on Twitter, where jokes are deliberately taken seriously because it allows you to score an ideological win if you automatically just interpret everything literally. Lighten up. It's a joke. The thing Kirsche said and the dumbass haka both. Wanna bet you're first in line when there's another joke about Brits having bad teeth or the French being cowards or whatever the fuck? Why don't you throw a wee joke my way while you're at it? I wonder what the difference is. It can't be the fact that you guys fillet anything with a tan, can it? Performative outrage at its finest. Kirsche admitting she would retweet posts with the N-word in it if it were not for her sponsors. Yes, this is perfectly normal. Why would it matter? First off, you should be able to retweet anything without people losing their minds. If you disagree, then discuss and convince. But no, you guys want to silence everyone. Not to mention the N-word could be said in a non-derogatory way. Or what if I wanted to retweet a funny joke said by a black man where he uses the word? Or about, I just want to because we live in a free society. Well, Kirsche does. To this day, I'm still not sure what I can get away with. But to be honest, it shouldn't reflect on me, Kirsche, or anyone else. This featured clip on her Twitch just speaks for itself. Why does she have a Twitch redeem that's a bunch of kids dancing in front of the pyramids with the word slaves projected all over? Who is it for? Answer seems fairly obvious.
Playing with my black pussy, as we all love to do.
My ears.
Oh god, that timing!
Yes, it is fairly obvious. So obvious, in fact, that I have no fucking idea what this nerd is talking about. I can imagine his fat jiggling as his sausage fingers type this. This is why we need bullies. Kirsche, celebrating Hitler's birthday month. Listen, I don't have any problems with this, but Kirsche, babe, you could have foreseen this reaction. Let's be honest, that was a bit, too on the nose. And if I was in your position, I would have chosen another edgy name. Can we all agree this was at the very least super unwise? I mean, there's poking the bear and then there's hitting it in the head. We've got to be fair, guys. We can't turn into simps. Obviously, not worthy of repercussions or cancellation or whatever the fuck, but not the smartest move for a woman that has half the VTuber world seething to take her down for several years now for being successful and rejecting their Marxist commie subversion. Kirsche supporting a guy who shot environmental protesters while supportively quote tweeting known neo-Nazi Arch Warhammer. See, this right here is why nobody likes you brain-damaged Redditors. Known neo-Nazi Arch Warhammer. Anyone with even a shred of conservatism in their bones is immediately a Nazi to you guys. Nobody likes you losers. No, really, nobody in the real world outside of your shit-heel bubble thinks you're right. How many times have you spoken to average Andy, the normie, and discovered that this whole calling everyone a Nazi is literally only a thing that works and is supported on the internet? Secondly, what's wrong with the statement? You pieces of filth thrive on lawlessness, breaking the unjust laws, which to you means all of them. Be gay, do crime. And there's never any responsibility for any of your actions, but when someone else makes a statement like it, it's suddenly Nazi and fascist or whatever. You don't have to tell me you've been dropped on your head as a baby. It's palpable. Kirsche asserting that women artists have an inferior work ethic. So now we're at the point where you can't have personal experiences anymore? I thought everyone was heckin' valid or whatever cringe shit you epic Redditards always espouse. But not Kirsche, of course.
Single artist I have praised for having work ethic and for being a good artist and for delivering on time, or even if they couldn't, for being communicative, has been a man. And every single artist I've ever had an issue with who can't deliver on time and has no work ethic is a woman. Oh no. Oh no, dude. I'm becoming more misogynistic.
My ears.
Oh no! Not like this! Yes! Damn, Kirsche, such a pick me! I can't help it! I didn't notice until just now! Fuck!
On top of it just being a joke. Now, personally, I'm happy with my male artists, both art and music, and I'ma be real with you, Chief. From all the shit I've heard and read about artists, and for some reason always the female ones, I'm very hesitant to even go and commission something. I'm serious. My artist took 5 weeks off because mementals type shit seems to happen all the time. Kirsche dub on top of being an incredible reach. Kirsche didn't want to unretweet it because I didn't want to give them a win.
But like, and I'll get into like more stuff as we go through the article. But like, I didn't want to unretweet it because I didn't want to give them a win. I probably should, just because people will point to it and be like, oh, she never unretweeted it. That means she endorses it. And it's like, I wanna support people who buy my merch. I wanna support people who fucking spend money on things that I'm selling.
Good. Every time someone gives in, it's not enough. You guys want more. Let me ask you a question. What can Kirsche do to make this right? To make you not hate her? Die, right? Just action herself out of existence. That's the only thing that will make hateful goblins like yourselves happy. And even then, if she recorded it, you would complain that she didn't do it right and then piss on her corpse before you piss on her grave. Get bent. This mentality is the right one. Nobody should give you mental midgets a single inch. Fuck you. Last of the Reddit part. What a slog. Look, I wanted to be thorough with this, but hopefully I was able to at least make this entertaining somewhat. Readily using slurs for the mentally disabled as a casual insult. Wait, she used the word retard freely to describe people like yourself?
What's the count? A little better than average.
Our Kirsche, for some ungodly reason, loved this little game called Crime Boss Rockay City. I'm more of a fan of, let's say, good games, and I actually have impeccable taste, but to each their own. For 2 years, she promoted them, got in close, played the game, promoted the game to the fanbase and to her friends, and everyone was happy. Well, you know, as happy as you can be playing Crime Boss, that is. Now, it wasn't the main target of this whole campaign. Gamer Supps, remember? That buckled. It was actually in-game studios, the developers of Crime Boss, that immediately turned into spaghetti and dropped Kirsche. I'm not gonna lie, this must not have been fun, and I'm pretty sure it hurt Kirsche quite a bit. So much time put in something, promoting them for free initially, because she genuinely liked the game. Hell, they were even going to make her a playable character, but that didn't matter to the brain-damaged idiots at in-game studios. You know what the best part is, my friends? The fact that the only thing they had to do was nothing. And it's very easy. Try it for yourself. Just stand there for a second and just exist. Very good. Now, wasn't that easy? It required no effort on your part at all. I want you to remember this fact. Instead, these chuckle-nut devs took the first train to cowardly bitch town and immediately rented office space there. They weren't even a real target of the smear campaign that was clearly Kirsche, with possibly Gamer Supps as the true main target to damage through Kirsche's affiliation. See, here is where I get really pissed. Like, I guess more pissed than I already was, which was pretty peeved to begin with, because I'm familiar with the plight of the non-woke indie dev. There are developers that have been fucked over simply for being themselves, so not because of some association or anything of the sort, but because they stood up and said no to a demand from the woke loony squad, or they had a vision for that game that they refused to let get subverted, resulting in massive harassment, which of course is never fun, and this lasts to this day. But what they gained was more publicity and the respect of people that actually buy and play video games, not just ideologues that use video games or any media as a cudgel to slap their retarded worldview into your face with. The same group that in-game decided to court. Kirsche's business relationship, or even the relationship just as a slightly brain-addled woman. I mean, how do you explain her liking the game in the first place? Anyway, a woman that just played the game and promoted it was instrumental in the success of the game. How much? Well, I wanted to go over it myself, but luckily, because Kirsche is a somebody that has fans, someone already went through the trouble. So thank you, So Zeist. I don't think we need more than this, right? Or do you want some tax returns from in-game studios to prove that her impact was significant? Now take this next bit with a grain of salt, because I've seen it repeated everywhere, but I can't find any proof. But allegedly, Kirsche's promo code was used more than the actual single sales on Steam. Holy shit. If that's true, then what the fuck are these guys doing? But let's see what our Kirsche had to say. A month into a life ruination campaign started by people who hate me, and during a pre-planned vacation where communication and access to my home and resources were minimal, in-game studios, devs of crime boss Rockay City, a game I loved and heavily promoted since its release in 2023, dropped their relationship with me. They were swayed by anonymous posts, Reddit users who admit to not watching me, people who lie by omission, and people who strawman all of my stances. And to cap it off, a muckraker from a dying news outlet with an axe grind... I like that. That sounds cool, an axe grind. Decided to compile it all into an article to which no more integrity than the Tumblr blog they not doubt... Fuck, I'm keeping this in because I'm just making fun of her fucking up and then I fuck up. Whatever, let's retake this. Then the Tumblr blog they not doubt had... No doubt had. See... Now I'm allowed to make fun of it. This company is not experiencing cancel culture. My audience were paying customers who are voting with their voice and their wallet after a company makes an astronomically poor decision they disagree with. These are not review bombs. These are not people who don't own the game brigading. In-game are experiencing what happens when you capitulate to cancel culture. These two things are not the same. It's incredibly obvious and everybody knows it. You people held this power to ruin others reputationally and financially for years, and we are now standing up for ourselves. Fuck you, fuck cancel culture, and fuck the Darvo that happens when anyone decides to defend themselves. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. Okay, so we're going off script here because I'm just reading this, right? But I made this sound file, this like haha, maybe it's funny, and I don't know if it is funny, but it kind of fits here, so I'm gonna put it here and maybe you'll get a laugh out of it.
You called down the
thunder.
Now reap the
spin. I was partnered with them directly for over a year, providing constant marketing via my large platform. Did testing and bug reporting for them on the game, both on and off my stream, as well as test out platforms for people they wish to partner with in the future. Dealing with Ixala as a means to revenue split with creators was probably the worst one. Okay, so a message here again, like I'm a nobody, so I have no idea what Ixala is. Whatever. I also used my contacts to help them hire new devs when they needed certain positions filled. I was also going to be put in the game as a playable character. I was doing this mostly for free and only got my Ixala revenue split links in the last few months. Pretty thorough and severely fucked. Again, that couldn't have been fun. As for the studio, I've never seen someone get handed lemons and then shit on the lemons before throwing them in the garbage. Sometimes though, sometimes the universe can be pretty cool. Or, you know, understanding how these things always work out will make you seem like an oracle. See, there's a reason I mentioned actually playing and buying video games before, because these activists don't do that. Remember, the only thing they had to do was literally exist. That's it. No avowing, no disavowing, just keep their mouth shut and weather the storm. And then pick up where they left off with Kirsche in a month. Maybe 2 months tops. These activists get tired and significantly weaken eventually when they jump to another target. If you're an extremely dumb and moronic studio that knows nothing about marketing and that relied on a fucking VTuber to carry them, then you might believe yourself more capable than you truly are and maybe make some silly decisions. Like deleting threads critiquing you for dropping Kirsche on Steam, while at the same time keeping the ones critiquing her. Never mind, they brought it back.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Then you come to the sudden realization that an edgy VTuber and their fan base that doesn't mind that type of shit was the perfect fit for your game, because you've got some non-woke and maybe even various types of ists and phobics in your game. Oops. So the losers that you thought you had won over as customers by switching sides suddenly turn on you and you're left with nothing. Was it worth it? Was it worth screwing over a business relationship for this? The only thing that can describe this behavior is angry clout-chasing obsession, but not clout as in trying to coast off of someone else's fame, but clout as in being the one to slay the dragon and getting praised for it by your severely mentally ill cohorts. And of course, VTubers are at the forefront, or more like a backup to this shit. Quite hilarious how these two saddies in particular keep vying for attention, with classics such as this. Which is funny if you think about it. Wouldn't that make you a Nazi? I mean, you're reposting something with a swastika in it, aren't you? Oh, but it's different when you do it. Reposting all of a sudden isn't guilt by association. Funny how that works. Or how about this? Did you know that a collab is when you're invited on someone's podcast? Now, I will agree that mimicking Razorfist's black and white style is cringe. I'll give you that. A little too dick-ridey for my liking. See, I can criticize her too. We're equal opportunists here. Of course, the LGBTQ LMNOP plus nonsense community had to weigh in with their doomsday prophecies of a possible future where the Yahtzee VTubers and their fans will rise up and genocide them, or something equally delusional. But it's clear that this is all about the takeover. As if VTubing wasn't filled with all the aforementioned lefty cucks. There can be no escape from their ideology anywhere. They want you to know they exist. They want you to acknowledge them. And more importantly, they want power over you. These sick individuals truly believe they are innocent victims that just want to be left alone. If it wasn't for all us evil VTuber chuds, or whatever the fuck dumb term they'll invent next. Although there's not much left, seeing as every term is either some form of ist or phobic to them. They cry out as they strike you. The purest form of the cry bully. Anal's adventure didn't end here though. Even now, they are endlessly tweeting at gamer subs and U2s because that's what it's about. It's about the destruction of one of the last pillars of extra income for non-woke VTubers. No, all non-woke content creators. In the end, it's all about idiotic DEI-pushing Marxist wokies. They are everywhere, and it's always them. When was the last time a bunch of right-wingers, and I mean true right-wingers, not someone with seemingly fluctuating center-right opinions like Kirsche, but hardcore right-wing beliefs, got some sponsorships pulled from a bunch of left-leaning content creators? And now the same playbook is dusted off that was used during Gamergate. You write an article, your buddies reference your article, then you reference your buddy's article until you create an Ouroboros inside of a fucking tornado of constantly self-referencing articles, after which it's time to get the extremely biased and ideologically slanted Wikipedia involved. And instead of a smear campaign, you now magically turned it into a truthful expose. You don't hate journalists enough. Let's finish this.
You know how long I've been waiting for this?
Lucky for us, our dear Kirsche isn't going anywhere, and every time this sort of cancellation happens, at least in the last 2, maybe 3 years, the support from the overarching online community, not just individual fan bases, has been overwhelming. Sometimes these smear jobs and cancellation attempts even backfire. Look at Cabrutus, who went from 2-ish thousand followers on Twitter to almost 60k simply because they thought they could fuck with him, and then everyone came and gave him support. Ditto for Arthur and Great Rebellion. I believe Kirsche is gonna be fine. I hope she massively financially gains from this in the long run, which would be the most hilarious outcome. Although that doesn't really help her now. I genuinely feel bad about that part. The human part, not just the business or marketing, but the fact that this is a singular woman being jumped by the mentally ill freaks with the support of a multi-billion-dollar company. That's rough. And it's unfortunately far from over. This shit show is still going on. I've added so much to this video while scripting because more and more information comes out in a vortex of seemingly endless, degenerate, immoral, and mentally ill behavior from all cancel pigs involved. At least you now know the genesis of this nonsensical situation regarding a woman that plays a blue anime fox girl on the internet and has opinions that aren't a cookie-cutter standard, and will occasionally make a joke or two. Anyway, let's give some words of encouragement to Kirsche here. First off, stay the course, but that's a given. Very cool that she's tough enough to weather this shit every, every 6 months now? But in all seriousness, thanks. More people need to see you can do this, and that people will support you. Hopefully it will inspire more VTubers to rise up in the future, just like the indie devs have done for some of the other indie devs by refusing to kneel, showing them that fear is optional, and you can count on the rational people of the internet to stand beside you. Plus, this isn't a good look. Think of all those silent lefties that are red-pilled by this. You'll never hear of them, and they'll never say so, but you've now shaken their beliefs just a tiny bit. They see what their so-called peers do and how they act. Vile smear merchants, liars, jealous cunts, and literal Kuma-brained degenerates. Speaking of indie devs, I have contacted Kirsche, but since I'm a literal nobody, chances of her even seeing something from an ant like myself are slim. Still, I told her she could promote more indie games and provided her with a list of bangers. There's plenty of single and multiplayer indie games that are great, of which the devs would love the extra eyeballs of even a short spot on a single Kirsche stream. They would genuinely be thankful for a little crumb. Contrast that to the disgusting reaction from in-game studios after years of campaigning for their game. fuck, this still makes me mad. How retarded do you have to be to immediately buckle under the weight of some mentally illers? Crazy town. It would be cool if she promoted the people that deserved a little boost, which will stick it to every cocksucking, cancel-bowing studio and sponsor that would see the impact of even a small spotlight would have on sales and fandom for these promoted games. The same impact they could have received if they weren't such chucklers. Oh, and I'm not an indie dev if you think that I'm self-serving or something. I just like to see people do well, except for the dick sniffers, which we'll end on. I swear the eggshell walking will be legendary. You're all gonna get cancelled in the future. You will be destroyed because your Marxist, trans, activist bullshit ideology eats itself. Eventually, you will slip up. And not in the same way Kirsche or others in the center or right politically do, where everyone is sick and tired of this fucking shit and will circle the wagons around the victim of a cancellation attempt. Nobody in the real world likes you. Normies are waking up to your ever-increasing cries of Nazi to the most milquetoast people you've ever seen. All my normie homies that don't even know what a Kirsche is. Fuck, they don't even know what a VTuber is. Shake their head at this. They bring it up to me all the time and I hear them out. I don't even have to tell them anything or talk about this cancellation campaign or that smear job because they know. Guess they're all Nazis. We're surrounded by them apparently. Every fellow lefty will gleefully devour you for the 2 seconds of dopamine in their pathetic lives and the only thing they live for besides cooming and grooming. And I will laugh. I won't be, oh, imagine if the roles were reversed, cucked. I will be full-on belly laughing at your misery and decreasing viewer base of ever-spiraling purity zealotry. Sincerely, go fuck yourselves. And with that, fuck off. Wait, no, that's not my epic sign-off. Sorry. Got a little heated there. I meant, and with that, jack off.